guys.
Hey.
Okay.
Yay.
So, how's everyone feel about ADA guidelines?
There are a lot of them.
Good. Yeah,
Yes.
There are, that's for sure.
Yeah. Glad I don't build things.
Yeah. No kidding.
And think about, because most of us are going into special ed, right? All of us are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have to comply with all this. When you think about it, it's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool that the guidelines are there,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. No. Totally.
but yeah, I could understand why it would be kind of frustrating for developers and stuff, but it's
There's so
needed.
many. Mhm.
So,
So it covers areas of public life, jobs, schools, transportation, and all public and private, open to the general. So it covers a lot more than IDEA does. In my opinion, I think it does.
It does.
A vast majority.
yeah. Super specific too.
Well, so we didn't have the reading for number 2. Like it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it a few days ago and today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tried to search the website too for it, and there was nothing. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Did it just
So-
expire, I guess?
We could just kind of guess.
Yeah.
So how does UDL, we could just think like, how does UDL tie with home modifications? I was kind of thinking that like making it accessible to everyone, like at the home, they have to make sure that it's accessible for them, and at school. No, that's UDA kind of lines with UDL. Sorry, I don't have any other ideas though.
Yeah, you just have to make
I
sure.
don't either. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And
Yep.
make sure what, Elsie?
That it just works at both places, at home and school. Basically
Yeah.
what it was.
Just make living conditions nice for everybody, and it's not going to hurt one person. Like, it's not going to hurt the family if you have to change something in the house, but it'll hurt one person if you don't. Like,
Yeah.
everybody can benefit from it, but specifically, like, nobody's left out or anything, which is nice. Because they probably already feel left out at school. So having it at home it's good. A little bit
I was
more.
thinking about that assignment that we have, and it's actually crazy to think how many places aren't wheelchair accessible.
Oh, I know. My work wasn't until like a few months ago. We got a ramp.
Yeah.
Really?
It's pretty
Yeah.
weird.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My work's made for old people, so it's definitely wheelchair accessible.
Good.
Well, yeah, that's good. Okay. You guys can move on. Sorry, I'm just typing.
That's okay.
Describe 3 responsibilities of the implementation team.
So they have to make sure that, so if there's software to download, they have to make sure that the software is downloaded on the device or whatever that the student's using. So I thought that was,
Yeah.
Thank you, Shay.
Yeah. They also have to make sure that they know how to troubleshoot when they need to like fix the problems that they're having.
yeah.
Yeah. I saw it.
I got you.
Thanks.
The only 2 that I had too.
I said
What? Oh, she's frozen.
Froze.
Oh no.
had to make sure that they knew when to give the student the technology
Wait,
and when to take it
Shay,
away.
Shay, you need to start over. You were frozen.
I hate my computer right now.
So the
Okay,
other one
were they
was
the
after
ones-
troubleshoot.
Were they the ones that know when to give the student the technology and to take it away, like when it's necessary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also have to make IEP goals centered around like the device too.
Yeah.
So then they're accountable for not using it legally.
Yeah, because I found it interesting that they can't, like, it's not their fault if the kid doesn't use it if they try to implement it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
like
tough
it.
thing.
You hear so many stories that get flipped around, so I kind of found that interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then list 3 outcomes of the implementation team can determine by evaluating the student's assistive technology. So I had to determine if the AT is being used routinely with successful outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
They should have some sort of data
Yeah. Data for sure.
show that it's working, not just
Mhm.
say it's working, but to show
Yeah, they need to
this
be
much data.
watching it.
data.
And then if it's not working,
And maybe like,
they can switch.
yeah.
And then training on the ATA. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And if the ATA needs like adaption, so like how to implement it, because that's part of the teacher's responsibility is like how are they going to get it into their daily classroom, how are they going to help the student, because it's not just the student's job.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
um,
All right.
those ones.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So, individual.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go first. So
Sammy, you're always going first.
I know. It's okay. For my assistive technologies that I thought about this week, I liked the spell checker. I don't know if that I'm getting my classes confused if it's 255 or 250.
No, that was on there.
But there was a spell checker that the student was using, and it was for writing. He was supposed to be focusing on writing, but he already had a hard time with writing, and spelling is already difficult. So he could check his spelling while he was writing, so he wasn't focusing on the spelling, but on the writing. I really like that. Because sometimes as teachers, we want them to focus on everything at one time, and you can't do that, especially if they have a disability. So really deciding what's important at the time and what you really want them to work on. Another one I liked was it's simple as a calculator. I use that one all the time. But again, just deciding when it's appropriate to have them use the calculator, when it's the bigger picture, again, kind of like this spell checker. Just if you're not focusing on like adding and doing it in your head or whatever and using different manipulatives, that it's an okay thing for them to use a calculator to help them focus on a concept or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I liked the tape recorder idea too, because again, it went back to the kid with the spell checker. They didn't want to take away the fact that he had to do some writing. So the first 2 he would answer in full sentences with writing, and then the last questions he would record the answer and then write down. He was responsible for writing down when he started recording the question and stopped recording, so the teacher could go back and listen to that specific question. And then the teacher can take that and show it to parents as that data to show that what they're doing is working and he's understanding the concept. So I really like that too.
Yeah.
I think it's a better evaluation of what they've learned when they're struggling with the writing. And then for the second one, about imagine you're a 7th grade general education language arts teacher, and what information should you gather before for assistive technology. I talked about how you have to have data that the student needs help and that they're struggling in certain areas. Because if you don't have data, then they're not going to need assistive technology. Or even if they are struggling and you don't have that data, a lot of times people won't just take your word for it, because that can be hard too. So you need to show that they're struggling. And then you need to have different ways that you've tried to help, but it's just not up to par, and that maybe assistive technology would work. Or maybe if you've already kind of done some experiment is a trial and error with some assistive technology, to bring that to the meeting too. So you say, well, we've tried this and this hasn't worked, or we've tried this and it's kind of worked, but it needs tweaked a little bit. They need all of that information. And then what was the last one? Oh, and then what technology you have in your classroom already that you're using. They need to know that too, so that they know what maybe they can, that's already sort of implemented and can expand on. Or maybe like if you have an iPad in there already, they can just add some sort of technology to an app to the iPad that'll work, instead of buying a whole new iPad or something like that, because that can get expensive. And then the last question is about your role in the implementation and evaluation process as a general education teacher. And we already kind of talked about this, but that you have to be aware of the assistive technology that's being used in your classroom, and how, like we said, to troubleshoot it, and if it's being effective, or if the student's still struggling with it, and why they're struggling with it. Is it a distraction? Is it helping? Is it half helping, but there's some things that need tweaked, or they need some learning in the area before it's fully workable? And then so you kind of have to troubleshoot that too. And then you have to be able to evaluate. Again, that data is super important. What you see, and see if there's any improvements, and be able to report back to the team for that evaluation to see if it's working. And if it's not working, how can you either improve that AT, or possibly think of another piece of AT that would work better.
Awesome.
I feel like we're gonna record a lot.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know.
Yeah.
I literally said everything you did. That's okay.
Okay, so I said wheelchairs, because they get the students where they need to go and access to everything that they need. And it reminded me, because it showed the kid in the wheelchair in the lab, and he had like the little grabber thing, so I thought that was pretty cool too. And then in the like guidelines that it talked about at the beginning, our first reading, it talked about wheelchair accessible water fountains too.
Holy crap.
So
that-
I thought
That would be sweet.
right.
That's awesome.
And then I set a tape recorder too, so that they can answer without writing if they have problems grabbing the pencil, and then they're able to hear themselves read things, which is good, and then record their answers for them. And thanks, Lizzie. I was just looking at that. And then it helps the teachers and the students understand things better. And then I said the e-reader.
That's
And
right. I
it
was
was
looking
just-
at that too. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps students get them through like text, so that they can listen if they have a problem reading. And then, oh man, I lost where I was. Students can follow along with the text, and so it helps them comprehend it better, and then they can complete the assignments needed if they can't read it. And then the information that I said that teachers need is the IEP, obviously, that calls for the assistive technology. Information on the assistive technology, what it's used for, how it helps students. And then I said before and after data of times before the assistive technology and after they have it, and how it's helped them. And then for the third question, oh man, oh, okay. So, sorry, I'm really tired. I worked for like 12 hours.
Oh gosh.
Let's go to bed.
So,
Jenna and
hold on,
teacher.
sorry guys.
Number 3.
Okay, there we go. I found it. Shut up. I said the teacher should know how to use the assistive technology, how it works with the IEP, when it needs to be implemented, how to arrange assignments and time to use the assistive technology, and then for the evaluation, I just wrote down some questions that it gave us that would kind of help understand it better. And so I said, is the AT supporting the student? Is there training needed? And is it accommodating or modifying their schoolwork? And if it's not helping, do we need to get a new device? So,
Yeah.
that's it.
Cool.
Sweet. So, in the one of the main videos that we had to watch, there was the text reader. So she literally just scanned put the book on there and then scanned it, and then had the headphones on, and it read the book. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it helps her if reading is difficult, or helps a student if reading is difficult and slows down the process. And it also gives them the option of pausing it, doing whatever they need to do, turning up the volume. They're kind of in their own space, so I thought that was really interesting. There was also a Braille book. I thought that was awesome.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before, so I've never seen them either, so that was interesting. Obviously, it's basically like a normal textbook, just made out of Braille. So I kind of looked into it more, but it was super cool. I watched a few videos because I have never seen it, like I said, and I was just so intrigued by it. So it can help a student that is obviously blind, or has trouble seeing, and to help them comprehend what they're supposed to be reading and that's going on in class. I just know that they're kind of expensive, so that's kind of why we don't see them as often. The third one, I kind of just thought this was interesting. Sticky notes and index cards.
I saw those.
Yeah, so it just helps students stay organized, and it makes it easier process to take notes, and it's kind of fun too. Sticky notes are fun. You can stick them anywhere.
Love them.
I use it all
They
the
come in
time. So
cool
I'm
colors.
assistive technology right here. What was the second question? The 7th grade teacher?
Yeah, would you take the IEP meeting?
So I said what subjects the student struggles / excels in. So we want to know where their strengths and weaknesses are, and where they need the most help. What strategies you've used in class, and if they've helped or if they haven't. The kid's level of functioning. So if he's high, low, how does he act in class? And then what types of instructional technology have you already used? And then the third question about the gen ed teacher, in the meeting, I said teachers must learn how to feel comfortable with the AT devices to help the student when needed, especially in the beginning, because most kids don't aren't as familiar. And then the teacher needs to be aware of the AT plan of implementation, so how they're going to be using the classroom, when the student needs to be using it. And then I also said it's important to monitor the new ATA or AT device, and if it worked, if it didn't. What assignments? AT. I totally just messed up. They might need more time with their AT device, so that's something to keep in mind. And then make sure it's in an easy area to get to.
Good. Cool.
Nice.
All right. So for mine, I did for the ATs, I did cognitive assistance, and so it's like a computer or electrical assistance device, and it helps people in their daily life and get through things through school, home, whatever. And it's usually for students or people that have a serious brain injury. And so I thought that was cool, and I've actually seen it before, when I was in high school, and so it's cool. And the second one I chose was a pretty easy one. We see it all the time, which is closed captioning on movies or anything. You can get them on Netflix or anything. And so it
Yeah.
just like helps the hearing impaired and students be able to watch the videos and enjoy them despite their hearing loss. And it's available like on a lot of things like TVs, computers, cell phones, whatever. And so it's really accessible. And then the third one I chose was frequency modulation systems. And so they help reduce the background noise. And you've probably seen in some of your classes, like at least I did in high school, like this teacher has like a microphone on. And a lot of times you don't really know why because I don't know until you actually talk to them. But they have like the students can have a personal headset thing. So only the teacher, it's only magnifying it to them, or they could have like speakers on the side of the classroom. And so it just like helps the student pay attention, and it's usually for students with hearing impairments, auditory process issues, autism, or attention issues. You could really use it for anything. And so for the second question, I just said like, oh, where did that go? Okay, I just said you should bring like annual goals that you suggest for the IEP, accommodations that you think would help. I also said, like Lizzie said, the student strengths and weaknesses in the classroom, and then examples of the students' work and like showing like the growth, like if you've had the IEP previously, and then previous and current assistive technologies and maybe possible ones that would work in the future. And then for the third question, I just said for the AT information, I would have to make sure I do research on the AT and make sure I'm using it correctly. And like you guys said, like the troubleshoot and know how to work it, and make sure that we're using it in the right way and the right time, so it benefits the child rather than hindering their learning. And also find a way for the AT to fit into the classroom. And so like, I think there's like a thing this week and we saw like the teacher had to like move the desks, everything around, like to make
Yeah.
sure this assistive technology is there. And so you just have to make sure you do that. And the curriculum is like also with it. So you just have to make sure that. And for the evaluation, I just recognize the AT is helping the student excel. And so yeah, that's what I put.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Nice.
Okay.
Summaries?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go. I think assistive technology is super cool and how it's super inclusive for everyone, and just really leveling for making the playing field equal for everyone. I really loved the video of the guy with a physical disability when he was playing. I can't remember what instrument it was. It was, I think, possibly some sort of instrument. I don't know. And he was helping him so he could play, and it was like a video game with a joystick. I don't know. That might have been. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the IRI, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that was super cool, and how it just makes people feel like they have a purpose, because music is like super important to me in my life. If I wasn't able to play piano or guitar, like I would be like that would really suck. And so being able to have technology to include everybody is amazing. And then learning about the implementation of the AT, I think sometimes we learn about like assistive technology, and that's where it stops. There's implementation processes that are already set up for teachers to use, and evaluations that really help the student.
Sweet.
Nice. So I was really surprised at all the ADA guidelines. There was just so many, and I thought it was really cool to see all of the different guidelines that are out there. And then I love like learning about a week. I think that stuff is so cool, and I wish that we had it all like elementary school. I think it would have really helped in much more than we do. And I liked IEP and special ed a little more this week because that's where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised at how much responsibility the AT had with all of the AT, just because the implementation team. And yeah, that's about it.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Roxy.
Oh. Huh. Okay. I just said that I think the ADA guidelines, like, they are really long, but I think they're really important for everyone to know about. I think they're pretty cool. And I also said, like, I always enjoy discussing with you guys all the time, but mostly I do like talking about the assistive technology because I think it's crazy how many things are out there, and I think a lot of people should know because it could help people with so many different disabilities, or any students really, just like to help them excel in school. And so I think it's really cool, and yeah, I think everyone should know about them.
Seriously. Because they're so beneficial.
Mhm.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, as always, I really enjoy sharing too. I like hearing about all the AT devices because many of them I haven't heard of. I like the Iris module videos because they give me a lot of visuals, and I wasn't just reading text, so it made me more engaged to actually have a video to watch.
Definitely.
Then probably my favorite AT device was the Braille book, just because I've never heard of it, and I was just like so caught off guard by it. And then lastly, the guidelines for ADA. I don't remember learning all of them in 260, but it's really great to know them all, like to have a resource to fall back on. So I think it's good to be aware of them.
Yeah.
That's all though.
All right.
Sweet.
Good work.
Anything else?
Nope.
I think that's it.
All right, I'm gonna end it.
Okay.
All right.